Welcome back to Wake Up America. As crime is rising around the country, so is the rhetoric for anti-police. There are massive police reform bills being proposed to essentially tie the hands of law enforcement. So joining us now to talk about that is New York Assemblyman Kieran Lalor and also former FBI agent, Navy SEAL, and author of the book Sheep No More, Jonathan Gilliam. So welcome to both of you this morning to Wake Up America. We thank you for joining us. Now, Assemblyman, let's start with you. It appears that this rhetoric of just reforming police in general, what are your thoughts on the steps being made today to do that?
Well, every entity, every organization should strive to improve and do things better. That's why, reasonable people, reasonable lawmakers on both sides of the aisle support increased funding for training, increased funding to make sure that our law enforcement officers are the best equipped in the world. And we have, at least in New York State, where we have one-party rule, hard left Democrats run both houses of the legislature, and they kind of control our current governor, Andrew Cuomo, because of his political problems. And they're proposing something that would take the current inferno of a crime wave and pour gasoline on it. What they're proposing is to basically make it almost impossible for a law enforcement officer or a peace officer to use deadly force. So here's a scenario. You have a sex trafficker kidnapping a child, about to take them away. If this law that has been proposed and has co-sponsors in both houses of the legislature, if it were to become law, a law enforcement officer could not use deadly force to prevent those sex traffickers from kidnapping a child or kidnapping another person. That's a real dramatic example that would play out. And you also have the maybe unintended consequences where police officers would become reactive, because the other half of this bill gives prosecutors the ability to prosecute law enforcement officers if, in the eyes of the prosecutors, the police officer used deadly force in an excessive manner. Now, we're all for reining in cops if they're doing the wrong thing, but this excessive force is not defined in the law. We see more and more district attorneys and prosecutors who are anti-law enforcement. They're actually getting elected in some precincts on being anti-law enforcement. And you're going to have situations where law enforcement officers just sit by because they don't want to break the law. They don't want to be prosecuted. They don't want to have their lives ruined. And the crime wave is going to get worse. And the sad fact is it's going to get worse and be most acutely felt in poor neighborhoods and in minority neighborhoods.
Jonathan, I'll turn to you now. We're talking about the increase in crime, but there's also the increase in violence against police officers. What are your thoughts?
Well, I thank the Assembly for his words, but that's a lot of words, and it can be wrapped up as simple as this. These people don't want to police the nation, and they don't want to police New York. Now, I served with the FBI in New York, and every partner I ever had was a NYPD detective, the best detectives in the world. And compared to the way it was then when I left in 2013, they were somewhat hamstrung to begin with by politics at that point. What is occurring now in New York and across the nation is that there is a leftist movement in this country that does not want our nation policed, plain and simple. Because it's too incompetent to think that somebody would come up with these rules when in the same time they're saying that they want to do what's best for the nation and for the people. That is absolutely what's not happening, and it's plain and simple. They don't want to protect the nation. This has more to do with ideology and less to do with politics and policy, period. That's it.
We were just showing video of the incident in San Francisco. A female officer left to essentially defend for herself, thanks to some help from bystanders after this attack on her. But also, Assemblyman Lalor, in Chicago, you were talking a bit about those policies. One of the new policies places limits on officers' ability to give chase. So will that encourage criminals to run from police, or what's the effect of that?
Absolutely. It will not only encourage them to run after they've committed a crime, it will embolden them to commit more crimes. And the crime wave will spiral even further out of control.
Okay, Jonathan, in New York State, there's a proposal bill called the Police Accountability Act, which includes a series of reforms aimed at improving protocols, strengthening accountability measures when police officers use force, especially lethal force, and then provides prosecutors with appropriate tools to potentially hold officers accountable when an individual dies after that interaction with police. How will this affect something we've talked about already this morning, but essentially make police officers hesitant to draw their weapon, hesitant to protect others, hesitant to protect themselves?
Well, everything you just said, okay, but you got to think that's the short game. That's what cops are going to stop doing. But when you look at the long game, good police officers or good potential police officers aren't even going to apply for the job. And the police officers that are going to be left after everybody retires are going to be, they're not really going to be qualified for the job, and they're going to be working in environments where it's getting more and more dangerous. Now, listen, I know that there's video out of this kid in Chicago getting killed, and that's what kind of spurred some of this in Chicago. And people refer to that as a tragedy. And they talk about all these different individuals that get shot, how it's a tragedy. Here's the reality. It's a crime, and they got killed doing a crime. The tragedy lies in society not taking part in this and ousting these criminal prosecutors, these leftist politicians, and not to throw too much politics specifically on the Republican Party. I'm a conservative, but we need to mutiny the Republican Party so that they get involved, because overall the Republican Party doesn't do anything but sit by the sideline, and the people that vote them into office are counting on them to step forward and battle with these leftist politicians. It's not happening, and this is what occurs when that doesn't happen.
All right, unfortunately, all the time we have for this morning. Assemblyman Kieran Lalor and Jonathan Gilliam, thank you so much this morning for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.